Welcome back to GovCon Insights. I'm Steve Graff, your host. Today we're going to talk about where you can find bidding opportunities when you want to sell products to the government. Now let's start with who is the government. Most of the people I see online that are asking questions or drilling deep into this think that the government is just the federal government, the U.S. federal government out of Washington, D.C. And the truth of the matter is there are federal agencies, there are state agencies, there are cities, there are counties, there are even universities and colleges that do their procurement system in the exact same way that the government does by putting it out for bid. They like certified companies that have some sort of 8A or historically underutilized certification because a lot of those universities and colleges also receive state and federal money, and to use that money, they have to, by law, tie it back to one of those programs for a certain percentage of their buying throughout the year. So don't discount schools, universities, cities, counties, those types of organizations in your government bidding searches out there. So we're going to run on the assumption today that all of you are either already registered with sam.gov and you have your cage code, or you're going through that process now and using this as education while you wait to receive those. You cannot bid on most of these sites without having both the sam.gov registration and the cage code. And there are quite a few of them that still to this day require you to have a DUNS number. So if you have not started to get your DUNS number, go through the process, Dun & Bradstreet. I think it's dnb.com, and you can start that. It's a pretty easy process, but you're going to have to do it for a couple of these sites that we're going to talk about. So let's start with some of the basic easy ones that I've used to win an awful lot of bids over the last year. It's made me a lot of money doing this. They're not huge contracts, but the best way I believe to get started selling products to the government is to start with some of those smaller contracts. Get your feet wet, win a few, perform well, learn the process before you go out and try to bid on a $5 million contract, not know what you're doing, and potentially mess it up, and it ends up putting you out of business forever anyway. So we're going to start with one I use an awful lot. It is gpo.gov, which is the Government Publishing Office. Now, in my normal business, I do a lot of printed products, whether it's paper goods or hats, shirts, cups, mugs, promotional items. That's what I've been doing for the last 26 plus years anyway. So I've tied that into what I do for the government on a lot of these contracts. So if you go to gpo.gov, you'll find every single day lots and lots of opportunities out there for printed goods, envelopes, stationery, business cards, shirts, hats, cups, mugs, some really goofy, weird stuff you'll find in there and not even know why somebody would need it, but they're buying it, so you may as well see if you can bid on it. Now, when you get to gpo.gov, just like all of these other sites I'm going to show you, you're going to have to register. And to register in gpo.gov, you're going to go into Work with Us. You see over here for vendors, how to register. Click on how to register, and it's going to run you through the process of getting registered with gpo.gov. I'm not going to go through it screen by screen today. Really, seriously, you need to figure out a lot of this stuff yourself. I will get you to the starting point on some of these, and then you'll be good to go for getting signed up and registered so you can also bid on these sites. One of the other ones I use quite a bit is Unison Marketplace. Unison Marketplace offers lots of bids that are typically larger than what you see on gpo.gov. You'll find some really big contracts in here. Now, here's one thing on Unison you need to pay attention to. They are more strict and more compliant with the FARs that apply out there, and you'll see some of these in here describing NAICS that's required, your size standard, your AMC level, protest program if there's some reason you're going to protest the opportunity or the bids. There's provisions, there's clauses, palletization, how you have to palletize it if you're going to ship it. The Buy American Act is really a big one with Unison, so pay very close attention to this one. It's hard to find stuff made in America anymore, and a lot of these opportunities on Unison enforce both the Berry Amendment and the Buy American Act, and so you have to be very, very careful. Now, this particular one, you'll see you must fill out the attached list that you'll see at the bottom if other than domestic end product. And then a lot of these will require, like this one does, that it comes from a qualifying country. The list of qualifying countries is getting smaller and smaller as time goes by. Canada, Mexico, I know if you go overseas, you're looking at Turkey as a qualifying country, Sweden, Switzerland. There's a list out there. If you'll Google qualifying countries, it will pull up the list, and it's getting smaller as time goes. So pay attention to where your items are manufactured that you're actually proposing, and then make sure you do the paperwork properly. Now, at the bottom of every Unison bid opportunity, you'll see all the attachments, and make sure you download every one of them. The mandatory Buy American, Camel Expedition Series PDF. That's probably a description of the exact tent they're looking for. With LED lights, they want to see that, so they're showing you the details of that. The brochure, the solar shade, all of that stuff will tell you exactly what the item is that this particular buyer wants. So download all of that. Now, in Unison, to start your bid, down here at the bottom right, you see Start Bid. If you're registered in Unison Marketplace and all set up with your cage code and ready to go, then all you would have to do at this point, if you have your product information, is to click on Start Bid. It's a very simple bidding process in the next few screens. Now, I'm not logged in. I'm not bidding on this project, so I'm going to do a whole nother episode on actually inputting bids. So we'll get to that later. So that's Unison. Now, I do not personally do anything in DIBS or with DLA. Getting registered with DIBS is a little tricky. Supposedly, and some of you are probably already signed up with DIBS, they send you a postcard using U.S. Postal, and you have to get the confirmation code off of that to finish registering. I've tried 3 separate occasions and have yet to receive my postcard from those people. Now, my office, where my mailbox is, it's quite possible that our postman is just not quite on the ball. But I've got so many other sites that I go to that I'm not worried about DIBS, and I've just kind of moved on from that. But it's a good one. There's lots of opportunities out there. You'll be working with the DLA. So I encourage you, get signed up with DIBS if you can. Sam.gov itself is a great place. Now, the way I do it in Sam is I go to the home screen, I'll click on Contract Opportunities, and then I'll click on whatever it is I'm looking for. Heck, I'll use their suggestion here and just click light bulbs and see what pops up. And, well, looky there, all these opportunities, LED light bulbs, June produce. I don't know how produce gets in there for light bulbs. But sam.gov has a lot of opportunities in it. Now, I'll caution you a little bit. Most of the opportunities in sam.gov are not quite as easy to do bids on because typically they're larger contracts. A lot of those will be true RFPs where you're creating an entire proposal that will include table of contents, executive summaries, capability statements, technical descriptions of the work being provided, the whole deal. So it's a little bit more involved when you're bidding through sam.gov, but a great source and the one that everybody knows. So let's move on to some other sites that you need to look for if you're going to be selling products to the government. The first one I'm going to show you, and it's just a sample, it's just an example of some that I use. This particular one is for the City of New Orleans. City of New Orleans puts an awful lot of stuff out for bid. I am on the email list for them, When you register for most of these sites out there, you will be able to select your product codes in their site and check a box that says, yes, email me when opportunities arise that fit my categories. So the City of New Orleans is one that I use quite a bit, or just Google City of New Orleans procurement. It'll pop right up, click in. Most of the city sites and the county sites are going to be super easy and super fast to register as suppliers. So make sure you do that on as many of those as you're interested in trying, and just get a flavor of what's out there in the market. Here's another one I do is the City of Columbus. I've sold them a whole bunch of stuff over the last year. Once again, you go into City of Columbus website, look for vendor services, and then you can find the registration right up here at the top right. It says sign up. It's super, super easy. Here's one for the City of Houston. I think I'm already logged in on, no, I got to log in there, but you can see the most recent stuff they've put out for bid. It's a great way to find all these opportunities that some people say they can't find. Where do you find these opportunities? Where are they? And in the beginning, I didn't know where they were either. So pick a city, maybe the one you live in, maybe the biggest city closest to you, or pick the top 10 cities out there that you think are big enough to spend lots and lots of money on this kind of stuff, and you will be absolutely amazed at the products that are out there. Of course, you can imagine the normal stuff, paper, envelopes, toilet paper, paper towels for all of the city bathrooms. There's all that normal stuff. Then there's some really weird stuff that's a lot of fun to bid on when we're placing bids. One last thing I want to show you, because I saw it online this morning where somebody was asking about tracking their bids and how they do that. On the screen now, you'll see what Monday.com. There is a free version of Monday.com. I actually have a paid version because I use it in my normal business also. But I have set up a window in Monday.com called Government Bids. Pretty simple stuff. Any opportunity that I think I want to bid in, I put up here in this top section. I put the bid jacket number and basically a little note as to what it is so it reminds me what I'm looking at. Then over here, am I getting it overseas? Am I getting it domestic? The next column is the status, and I've got a number of statuses in here so that I know at what phase of the bids I'm in. Bid due date, the date I submitted the bid I put in here. The last touch is the last time I had done anything on this bid. So even after I've submitted it, if I call the contract officer or email the CO asking for a status on a bid package, I'll put that date in there, that the last touch, so I know when the last time I followed up on that particular bid opportunity was. Now, I always also put the in hands date right here, and that is the date on the bid opportunity that the buyer wants the products in their hands. And I do that because there are a lot of these bid opportunities that come up that have unreasonable expectations on the in hands date. So let's say it's December 1st, you find a new bid opportunity that you want to bid on, and the in hands date says December 16th. That's 2 weeks. The odds of buying, packaging, shipping, delivering, and receiving whatever those products are in 2 weeks is really slim, and you put yourself out there and take a chance on it. If there's not enough time for the in hands date, I just ignore the bid opportunity altogether. I'm not going to risk my rating in their system by being late on deliveries. And believe me, they pay very close attention to that. So if it's not an in hands date that you can live with, skip it, go on to the next one. Now, in Monday.com, once I've submitted a bid, I will click on the status of bid submitted, and it automatically moves it down to the submitted bids. Now, every week or so, I will go through these bids. I will sort them by the date that they were closed, and I'll start either looking online on those sites, or I'll make a call and say, has this been awarded? And if I lose it, I'll click on the status lost. Or if I want it, I'll click on the bid won. you can set Monday.com to do a lot of really cool things. So if I click on bid one, it automatically sends it to another screen where it populates the deal. And in the deal screen, it tells me what I need to do, what step in the process I am. Have I paid for it? Have I ordered it? Have I sent the purchase order? Have they been shipped? What's the tracking number? All that kind of stuff you can set up. But basically what I'm showing you this for is so that you have some sort of vehicle you can use to stay organized. Bidding on one opportunity, then sitting back and doing nothing until you find out if that bid opportunity was won is not the way to play this game. If you really want to get into selling products to the government, you need to be bidding every single day on projects that are out there. And if you register with enough cities, states, counties, and other bid platforms, you will have more than enough opportunities to bid on these items. So that's basically where you can find all these bid opportunities. There's enough out there, specifically in the city-state category, to keep you busy forever and ever. So use this, get registered, get your email notifications set for all of those things, and then start throwing those bids out there. Now, I will ask one thing in closing. For those of you that are watching this, if you start placing those bids on some of these sites, keep me posted. Hit me up in the comments if you have questions, but hit me up in the comments also if you win these bids. I like to keep track of what other people are doing and their successes. I'm a big believer in giver's gain. So if I'm helping you obtain any sort of success at all in your government contracting business, let me know it. Just give me the warm fuzzies. Now, if you would please subscribe to this series, share it with other people who are in the GovCon space, hit the notifications bell so anytime I post a new video, it'll show up in your notifications. And if you need anything, reach out to me. I'll be happy to help where I can. Now, I want you guys to go have the best day ever.